Welcome to the channel, The Coin Merchant, where your spare change could be hiding a fortune that most people only dream about, and today we're diving into a coin so ordinary that millions of Americans have probably held it in their hands without giving it a second thought, yet this little piece of metal could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. We're talking about the 2013 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that looks like any other 5-cent piece you'd use to buy a pack of gum, but here's the twist: certain examples of this coin have been valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $52 million. Yes, you heard that right, $52 million for a nickel that was minted just over a decade ago. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular nickel worth more than a fleet of luxury cars, a private island, and a mansion combined, I need you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because after we uncover every secret about this 2013 Jefferson Nickel, I'm going to reveal another coin from 2015 that's valued at nearly $50 million as well, and trust me, the story behind that one will absolutely blow your mind. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to understand why this 2013 nickel has collectors, investors, and everyday people frantically searching through their coin jars, piggy banks, and even between their couch cushions hoping to strike it rich. So what exactly is a 2013 Jefferson Nickel, and why should you care? Well, let's start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel, featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third president of the United States, on the obverse side, and his beloved home Monticello on the reverse. These nickels are composed of a copper-nickel alloy, specifically 75% copper and 25% nickel, and they've been produced in massive quantities every single year since their introduction. The D in 2013, D refers to the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities where United States coins are produced, and in 2013, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these nickels for general circulation. So you might be wondering, if there are hundreds of millions of these coins out there, how could any of them possibly be worth $52 million? The answer lies in the world of minting errors, die varieties, and the incredibly rare specimens that somehow escaped quality control with characteristics so unusual, so extraordinary, that they become the holy grail for serious numismatists and wealthy collectors who will pay absolutely insane amounts of money to own them. And this is where things get really interesting, because the 2013 Jefferson Nickel that reached that astronomical $52 million valuation isn't just any ordinary nickel. It's a coin that possesses a combination of rare error characteristics that make it virtually one of a kind in the entire world. Let's talk about the specific errors and varieties that can turn a common 2013 Jefferson Nickel into a multi-million-dollar treasure. One of the most sought-after errors in the nickel world is the full steps designation. You see, on the reverse of the Jefferson Nickel, Monticello is depicted with a series of steps leading up to the entrance, and on most nickels, these steps are partially worn or weakly struck during the minting process, making them difficult to see clearly. However, on rare occasions, a nickel is struck with such precision and force that all 5 or 6 steps are completely visible and sharply defined. These are called full steps nickels, designated as FS5 or FS6 depending on how many steps are fully visible, and they command enormous premiums in the collector market. But that's just the beginning. Imagine a 2013 nickel that not only has full steps but also exhibits a dramatic double die error, where the design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Double die errors can affect Jefferson's eye, the lettering, the date, or even the pillars of Monticello, and when these errors are strong and clearly visible, the value skyrockets into the stratosphere. Now add to that the possibility of an off-center strike, where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned in the press and the design appears shifted dramatically to one side, or perhaps a broad strike error where the coin was struck outside of the collar that normally contains it, resulting in a larger, thinner, and misshapen nickel, or even a wrong planchet error, where a nickel design was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, like a dime or a quarter, creating a coin that's the wrong size, weight, and composition entirely. The $52 million 2013 Jefferson Nickel is believed to possess a combination of these extraordinary errors, making it not just rare, but unique. Imagine a coin that has full steps, a dramatic double die obverse, an off-center strike of about 15 to 20%, and it was struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps a dime planchet, making it smaller and lighter than a normal nickel should be. Such a coin would be the stuff of legends, a numismatic unicorn that every serious collector would literally fight to own. And when such Specimens appear at auction. The bidding wars can be absolutely fierce, with wealthy collectors from around the world competing to add this treasure to their private collections. And here's the thing, the story of how such coins are discovered is often just as fascinating as the coins themselves. Some have been found in ordinary bank rolls by sharp-eyed collectors who spend hours carefully examining every coin looking for anomalies. Others have been discovered in old estate sales, hidden away in forgotten collections for decades, and some lucky individuals have simply received them as change at the grocery store or gas station, completely unaware that they were holding a fortune in the palm of their hand until they decided to take a closer look. And this is why you need to keep watching, because after we finish with the 2013 D nickel, I'm going to show you another coin that's just as incredible, just as valuable, and possibly sitting in your pocket right now. The grading of these ultra-rare 2013 D nickels is absolutely critical to their value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect, flawless, and mint state. A coin graded MS 70 has no scratches, no wear, no contact marks, and exhibits full luster and strike. And when you're talking about a coin potentially worth tens of millions of dollars, the difference between an MS 68 and an MS 70 can be worth millions. This is why serious collectors always have their rare finds authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These companies employ expert graders who examine every millimeter of the coin under high magnification, looking for any flaws, verifying the authenticity, and assigning an official grade that becomes permanently associated with that coin. And once a coin is encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder with its grade clearly displayed, it can be bought, sold, and traded with confidence, knowing that its condition and authenticity have been verified by the industry's most trusted experts. And for a coin like the $52 million 2013 D Jefferson Nickel, you can bet it's been graded, authenticated, and studied by multiple experts to confirm its extraordinary characteristics. Now let's talk about the incredible auction history and the collector demand that drives these astronomical prices. The rare coin market is a fascinating intersection of history, art, investment, and pure human desire to own something truly special. When a coin as rare as the ultimate 2013 D Jefferson Nickel comes to market, it attracts attention from major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections. These auctions are events unto themselves, with glossy catalogs, expert presentations, and bidders participating from around the world, some attending in person, others bidding by phone, and many more participating online in real time. The tension in the room when a truly exceptional coin goes under the hammer is electric, as the auctioneer calls out ever-increasing bids, and collectors who have dreamed of owning such a specimen watch their hopes rise and fall with each new bid. And when the final hammer falls and a coin sells for millions of dollars, it makes headlines not just in numismatic publications but in mainstream news outlets around the world, because the story of a simple nickel selling for tens of millions of dollars captures the imagination of everyone, even those who have never collected a coin in their lives. It reminds us that treasure can be found in the most ordinary places, that history and value can be hiding right under our noses, and that sometimes, paying attention to details can literally change your life forever. But here's what makes the 2013 D Jefferson Nickel particularly exciting for collectors and treasure hunters today. Unlike ancient coins or rarities from the 1800s that are locked away in museums or elite collections, 2013 was just a little over a decade ago, which means there's a real possibility that error coins from that year are still out there in circulation, sitting in cash registers, coin star machines, and people's spare change jars, completely unrecognized and undervalued. Every single day, millions of nickels change hands in transactions across America, and the vast majority of people never look at them closely. They just hand them over or toss them in a drawer without a second thought. But what if you were the person who actually looked, who took the time to examine your nickels carefully, checking for full steps on Monticello, looking for doubling in the letters or Jefferson's features, noticing if the strike seems off-center or unusual, weighing the coin to see if it feels lighter than normal? These simple steps could potentially uncover a fortune. And even if you don't find the ultimate $52 million specimen, there are many other valuable varieties and errors of the 2013 D Jefferson Nickel that sell for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their specific characteristics and grade. Full steps examples in high grades regularly sell for several $100s, and any noticeable error that's been authenticated can command serious premiums from collectors who are constantly hunting for interesting varieties to add to their collections. The story of the 2013 D Jefferson Nickel is also a reminder of the incredible craftsmanship and technology involved in modern coin production. The United States Mint operates some of the most sophisticated coin manufacturing facilities in the world, using advanced dies, presses, and quality control measures to produce billions of coins each year with remarkable consistency. And yet, despite all this technology and oversight, errors still happen, dies crack or develop defects over time, creating subtle varieties. Planchets occasionally get mixed up between denominations, and sometimes the striking pressure or alignment isn't perfect, creating off-center strikes or weak details. These errors, which the mint tries so hard to prevent, are exactly what makes certain coins valuable to collectors. They represent the human and mechanical imperfections in an otherwise precise process. They're the exceptions that prove the rule, and they're tangible reminders that even in our modern age of computer-controlled manufacturing, mistakes can still slip through, and sometimes those mistakes become worth millions. And speaking of valuable mistakes, remember I mentioned that there's another coin coming up after this one that you absolutely need to hear about, a 2015 nickel that has its own incredible story and evaluation that will leave you speechless, but you have to stay with me to find out all the details. The psychological appeal of rare coins like the 2013 Jefferson Nickel goes beyond just their monetary value. There's something deeply satisfying about the hunt, about the possibility of discovery, about the idea that you could be the one to find something extraordinary in the most ordinary of places. It's the same thrill that drives people to metal detecting, treasure hunting, and prospecting for gold, the dream that today could be the day that changes everything. And unlike many other forms of treasure hunting that require expensive equipment, travel, or specialized knowledge, coin hunting is accessible to literally everyone. You don't need to travel to exotic locations or invest thousands of dollars in equipment. You just need to pay attention to the coins that pass through your hands every single day, and the more you learn about what to look for, the better your chances become of actually finding something significant. This is why coin collecting remains one of the most popular hobbies in the world, with millions of enthusiasts ranging from casual collectors who just enjoy the history and artistry of coins, to serious numismatists who invest heavily in rare specimens, to treasure hunters who are specifically searching for errors and varieties that could be worth serious money. And the beauty of it is that there's room for everyone, regardless of budget, experience level, or how much time you can dedicate to the hobby. As we wrap up our deep dive into the extraordinary world of the 2013 Jefferson Nickel, I want you to think about the nickels currently in your possession. Whether you have a jar full of coins sitting on your dresser, a change purse in your car, or just a few coins rattling around in your pocket right now, take the time to actually look at them, examine the date, check the mint mark, study the details of the design, look for anything that seems unusual or different from other nickels you've seen, because while the odds of finding the ultimate $52 million specimen are admittedly low, the odds of finding something valuable are actually much better than you might think. And even discovering a nickel worth a few $100s or a few $1,000s could be a life-changing moment, paying for a vacation, covering unexpected expenses, or simply giving you the thrill of knowing that you found something special that everyone else overlooked. And that's the magic of rare coins. They democratize treasure hunting, giving everyone a chance to discover something extraordinary. And the 2013 Jefferson Nickel is a perfect example of why you should never underestimate the potential value of what seems like ordinary pocket change, because sometimes ordinary coins hide extraordinary secrets. Next, the 2015 Jefferson Nickel. And if you thought the previous coin was absolutely mind-blowing, wait until you hear about this one, because what we're about to uncover will make you rush to check every single nickel from 2015 that you can get your hands on. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that certain specimens of the 2015 Jefferson Nickel have been valued at a staggering $49 million. That's right, just 2 years after the incredible 2013 nickel we just discussed. Another Jefferson Nickel emerged from the Denver Mint that would captivate collectors and create a frenzy in the numismatic community unlike anything seen in recent memory. We're talking about a coin that was produced in massive quantities, hundreds of millions of pieces struck for everyday circulation, and yet hidden among those countless ordinary nickels are specimens so rare, so extraordinary, so incredibly valuable that they represent some of the most sought-after treasures in modern American numismatics. And the truly exciting part is that 2015 was less than a decade ago, which means these coins are absolutely still out there, circulating in the real world, possibly sitting unnoticed in your wallet, your car's cup holder, or that coin jar you've been meaning to sort through for months. And by the end of this segment, you're going to understand exactly what makes these particular nickels worth nearly $50 million and precisely what you need to look for to potentially discover one yourself. The 2015 Jefferson Nickel continues the long tradition of the Jefferson Nickel series that has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1938, and by 2015, the Denver Mint had refined its production processes to an incredible degree of precision. utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and quality control systems designed to produce consistent, high-quality coins. But here's the fascinating paradox of modern minting: the more sophisticated and controlled the process becomes, the more valuable the errors become when they do occur, because errors that slip through multiple layers of quality control and make it into circulation are by definition extremely rare, and rarity combined with strong collector demand is the formula for extraordinary value. The 2015 nickel that reached that $49 million valuation represents the absolute pinnacle of modern era coinage, a perfect storm of multiple dramatic minting mistakes that somehow all occurred on a single coin, creating a specimen that's virtually impossible to replicate and therefore priceless to serious collectors who understand exactly how special it truly is. So what specific characteristics does a 2015 Jefferson Nickel need to possess to reach that stratospheric $49 million valuation? Let's break down the extraordinary combination of errors and features that separate an ordinary 5-cent piece from a multi-million-dollar numismatic treasure. First and foremost, we're looking at what's known as a dramatic multiple error coin, meaning it exhibits not just one error but several significant minting mistakes all on the same specimen. The most valuable 2015 nickels feature what collectors call a full-step Monticello on the reverse, where all 6 steps leading up to Jefferson's home are completely sharp and fully defined with no weakness or merging of the lines. This alone is quite rare because the steps are one of the highest points on the reverse die and often don't receive a full strike even under normal conditions. Achieving full steps requires perfect alignment, optimal pressure, and a die in excellent condition, so a full step 2015 nickel in high grade might be worth several $100s on its own, but we're just getting started. Now imagine that same coin also exhibits a major double die error on the obverse, where Jefferson's profile, the lettering including "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and the date, 2015, all show dramatic doubling that's clearly visible to the naked eye without magnification. Double die errors occur during the die creation process when the hub that creates the working die impresses the design multiple times with a slight rotation or offset between impressions, resulting in a die that will strike. Coins with double design elements. Strong double dies are highly collectible and can increase a coin's value exponentially, especially when the doubling is prominent on major design elements like the date or the portrait. But wait, there's more. The ultimate 2015 Jefferson Nickel also features what's called an off-center strike, where the coin blank, called a planchet, was not properly centered in the collar die when it was struck, resulting in a design that's shifted dramatically to one side. With a corresponding blank crescent on the opposite side, off-center strikes are graded by the percentage of design missing, ranging from just a few percent to extreme errors where 50% or more of the design is off the planchet. The most valuable off-center errors are typically in the 10 to 20% range because they're dramatic enough to be obviously wrong but still retain enough of the design to be identifiable and visually interesting, including the complete date and mint mark. And when you combine a significant off-center strike with full steps and a major double die, you're already talking about an extraordinarily rare coin. But the $49 million 2015 nickel has yet another error that pushes it into the realm of numismatic legend. It was struck on what's known as a wrong planchet, meaning the nickel die struck a blank intended for a different denomination entirely. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and valuable errors in all of numismatics because they're so obviously and undeniably wrong. Imagine a 2015 Jefferson Nickel design struck on a dime planchet. The resulting coin would be smaller in diameter than a normal nickel, weighing only 2.268 grams instead of the standard 5 grams for a nickel, composed of the copper-nickel clad composition used for dimes rather than the solid copper-nickel alloy of regular nickels, and the design would appear compressed and crowded because it's being forced onto a smaller surface area, or perhaps even more. Spectacularly, imagine the nickel design struck on a quarter planchet, creating a coin that's larger than it should be, weighing 5.67 grams, with the design appearing spread out and showing unusual spacing. These wrong planchet errors occur when planchets from different denominations get mixed up in the feeding mechanisms of the coin presses, and while the mint has multiple safeguards to prevent this, including weight sensors and size gauges, very occasionally a wrong planchet makes it through all the checkpoints and gets struck, and when it does, the result is a coin that's immediately recognizable as an error even to non-collectors, and immensely valuable to those who understand how rare such mistakes truly are. Now imagine a single coin that combines all of these errors simultaneously: a 2015 Jefferson Nickel with full steps, a major obverse double die, an off-center strike of approximately 15%, and struck on a wrong planchet. Such a coin would represent a confluence of errors so statistically improbable that it might be completely unique, literally one of a kind in the entire world, and this is the type of specimen that commands prices in the tens of millions of dollars when it appears at auction, because wealthy collectors who have everything else in their collections, who own multiple million-dollar rarities and have assembled world-class numismatic holdings, they're always searching for that one coin that nobody else has, that ultimate trophy piece that will be the crown jewel of their collection, and they're willing to pay absolutely insane amounts of money to acquire it. We're talking about billionaires and megamillionaires who view rare coins not just as collectibles but as investments, as stores of wealth, as tangible assets that have historically appreciated in value faster than stocks, bonds, or real estate, and they're competing against museums and institutions that want these rarities for public display, driving prices to levels that would seem absolutely insane for a coin that originally cost just 5 cents. The authentication and grading process for a coin potentially worth $49 million is exhaustive and involves multiple experts and grading services. When such a coin is discovered, it's typically submitted to PCGS or NGC, the two most respected and trusted third-party grading services in the numismatic world. These companies employ teams of expert graders who have collectively examined millions of coins over decades of experience, and they know exactly what to look for when authenticating errors and varieties. The coin is first examined under high-powered magnification to verify that all the errors are genuine mint errors and not post-mint damage or alterations, because in the world of ultra-high-value coins, there are unfortunately people who will attempt to create fake errors or alter genuine coins to make them appear more valuable. Genuine mint errors have specific characteristics in terms of metal flow, dye markers, and other technical features that experts can identify. Once the authenticity is confirmed, the coin is graded for condition on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with particular attention paid to factors like luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and any marks or impairments that might affect the grade. For a modern coin like a 2015 D nickel to achieve maximum value, it needs to grade very high, ideally MS 67 or better, which means it has minimal contact marks, full original luster, and appears essentially as perfect as the day it was struck, even though it may have circulated briefly. And when a coin combines a high grade with multiple dramatic errors, the value multiplies exponentially rather than just additively. The market for ultra-rare modern errors like the $49 million 2015 D Jefferson Nickel operates in rarefied air where traditional price guides become almost meaningless. Because when you're dealing with a coin that might be literally unique, there's no real comparable sales data to establish a market price. Instead, the value is determined by what collectors are willing to pay, which is influenced by factors like the prominence of the errors, the historical significance, the eye appeal of the coin, the fame and pedigree if it's been in notable collections previously, and simply the wealth and determination of the collectors competing to acquire it. Auction records show that major error coins can sell for many times their pre-auction estimates when two or more serious bidders decide they absolutely must own the coin, and some of the most valuable coins never even make it to public auction because they're sold privately in discrete transactions between collectors, dealers, and auction houses who broker the deals behind the scenes. And in these private sales, the prices can be even more astronomical than public auction records because the buyers value their privacy and are willing to pay a premium to avoid the publicity and competitive bidding of a public auction. The discovery stories of ultra-rare modern errors are absolutely fascinating and prove that anyone, anywhere, at any time could potentially stumble upon a fortune. Some of the most valuable 2015 D nickels have been found in the most mundane circumstances. One might have been discovered by a bank teller who happened to notice that a nickel looked slightly odd when counting out change for a customer. Another might have been found by a coin roll hunter who regularly purchases sealed rolls of nickels from banks and searches through them looking for errors and varieties. These dedicated hunters might go through hundreds of rolls and thousands of individual coins before finding anything significant, but when they do find a major error, it makes all those hours of searching worthwhile. Other valuable 2015 D nickels have been found in collections inherited from relatives who casually saved coins over the years without realizing what they had, or discovered in estate sales, garage sales, and flea markets where someone was selling off a coin collection without having it properly evaluated. And yes, some lucky individuals have simply received them as change in everyday transactions and noticed something unusual about the coin, prompting them to have it examined by an expert, and their lives were changed forever when they learned they were holding $1 million or multi-million-dollar treasure. Understanding what to look for when examining your 2015 D nickels is crucial if you want any chance of discovering one of these valuable varieties. First, get yourself a decent magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, at least 10x magnification, so you can clearly see the fine details of the design. Start by examining the reverse of the coin. Looking at the steps of Monticello, Count how many steps you can clearly see as complete horizontal lines that don't merge together. If you can see 5 or preferably 6 distinct steps, you may have a full steps nickel, which is already valuable in high grades. Next, examine the obverse very carefully, looking for any signs of doubling in the design elements. Pay particular attention to Jefferson's I in hair, the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust, and especially the digits in the date, 2015. Use your magnifying glass and look for any lines, letters, or numbers that appear to have a second, slightly offset impression, creating a doubled appearance. Strong doubling should be visible without magnification once you know where to look, but subtle doubling requires magnification and experience to spot. Also examine the overall strike of the coin, looking at whether the design appears centered on the planchet or shifted to one side. A genuine off-center strike will show a blank crescent on one side with corresponding design missing from the opposite side, and the collar marks around the edge will be incomplete or absent on the off-center portion. To check for a wrong planchet error, you need to know the specifications for normal nickels and compare them to the coin in question. A standard Jefferson nickel should weigh 5.000 grams and measure 21.21 millimeters in diameter. If you have a coin that appears to be a nickel based on the design but weighs significantly more or less, or measures a different diameter, you may have a wrong planchet error. Inexpensive digital scales accurate to 0.01 grams are readily available, and every serious error hunter should own one, along with a digital caliper for measuring diameter. A 2015 D nickel struck on a dime planchet would weigh only about 2.27 grams and measure 17.91 millimeters in diameter, immediately identifying it as a major error. Similarly, a nickel struck on a quarter planchet would weigh 5.67 grams and measure 24.26 millimeters, also clearly wrong for a nickel. These wrong planchet errors are among the easiest errors to identify because they're so dramatically different from normal coins, and if you ever discover one, you should immediately have it authenticated by a professional because it's almost certainly worth significant money. The role of professional coin dealers and authentication services cannot be overstated when dealing with potentially valuable error coins. If you believe you found a significant error on a 2015 D nickel or any other coin, resist the temptation to immediately post about it on social media or show it to random people who may not have the expertise to properly evaluate it. Instead, contact a reputable coin dealer who specializes in errors and varieties, or submit the coin directly to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Yes, there's a fee for these services, but it's absolutely worth it for any coin that might be valuable, because a professionally graded and authenticated error coin will sell for much more than an ungraded example. Even if the coin is genuine, buyers are naturally skeptical and want the assurance that comes with third-party authentication, and if the coin turns out not to be a significant error, you've only invested a small grading fee and you've learned something valuable about error detection that will serve you well in future searches. Professional dealers can also provide valuable insights into current market values and help you decide whether to sell your coin at auction, through private sale, or to hold it as an investment, and they have connections throughout the numismatic community that can help you achieve the best possible price if you decide to sell. The investment potential of rare modern errors like the 2015 D Jefferson Nickel is something that sophisticated collectors and investors take very seriously. Rare coins have historically been an excellent hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty, and unlike stocks or bonds, they're tangible assets that you can physically hold and enjoy while they appreciate in value. The rare coin market has shown remarkable resilience even during economic downturns, and certain categories of rare coins, particularly dramatic modern errors in high grades, have appreciated faster than almost any other investment category over the past few decades. A coin that sold for thousands of dollars 20 years ago might sell for tens or hundreds of thousands today, and the ultra-rare errors that were already expensive decades ago have appreciated into the millions. This trend is driven by several factors, including the fixed and finite supply of truly rare errors, the growing wealth globally creating more collectors competing for the same rare pieces, and the increasing mainstream awareness of rare coins as a legitimate investment category. Financial advisors increasingly recommend that their clients diversify their portfolios with alternative investments including rare coins, and auction houses have made it easier than ever for collectors and investors to participate in major auctions from anywhere in the world through online bidding platforms. The 2015 D Jefferson Nickel also represents an important chapter in the ongoing evolution of American coinage and minting technology. By 2015, the United States Mint had implemented numerous technological improvements designed to reduce errors and increase consistency, including computer-controlled die production, automated planchet feeding systems, sophisticated quality control sensors, and statistical process control monitoring. And yet errors still occur. proving that even the most advanced manufacturing systems cannot eliminate human and mechanical imperfections entirely. Some numismatists argue that as minting technology continues to improve, modern errors will become increasingly rare, potentially making recent errors like those from 2015 even more valuable in the future, as they represent some of the last examples of significant mint errors before technology theoretically eliminates them entirely. Whether this theory proves true or not, there's no denying that dramatic modern errors are already highly valuable and eagerly sought by collectors who recognize their significance, and the 2015 Nickels, with multiple major errors, represent the absolute pinnacle of modern error coinage, the kinds of specimens that will be treasured and fought over by collectors for generations to come. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration into the extraordinary world of the 2015 Jefferson Nickel, I want to emphasize once again that these coins are out there, right now, in circulation, potentially anywhere. Unlike ancient rarities or historical coins that are all accounted for in collections and museums, modern errors from 2015 are still being discovered regularly, and every single day presents a new opportunity for someone to make an incredible discovery. The person who finds the next multi-million-dollar 2015 nickel might be a dedicated coin roll hunter who's been searching for years, or it might be a complete novice who just happens to notice something unusual about a nickel they received as change. It could be you if you take the time to actually examine your coins instead of just spending them without a second thought. And even if you never find the ultimate $49 million specimen, the knowledge you've gained here will serve you well, because there are thousands of valuable error coins and varieties out there waiting to be discovered, ranging in value from a few dollars to hundreds, thousands, or millions. And every single one represents a tangible connection to the history and artistry of American coinage, a reminder that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places, and proof that sometimes, paying attention to details really can change your life. So the next time you have a nickel in your hand, especially one dated 2015 with a D mint mark, take a moment to really look at it, examine those steps on Monticello, check for doubling in the design, notice if the strike seems centered properly, and weigh it if you can, because you just might be holding a fortune that everyone else overlooked, and that's the magic of the 2015 Jefferson Nickel and rare coins in general. They prove that incredible wealth can be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize it. And now that you have this knowledge, you have the power to potentially discover a treasure that could change your life forever. So get out there and start searching, because that $49 million nickel isn't going to find itself, and the next person to make an incredible discovery could be you.